My name is Riley, and I've always been the responsible one in my family. The kid who got straight A's, worked part-time jobs since I was 16, and saved every penny for college. My younger brother, Jordan, on the other hand, was the golden child in my parents' eyes. At 17, he was a year younger than me, but he acted like the world owed him everything. Our parents, Sarah and Mike, spoiled him rotten, always making excuses for his tantrums and laziness. They chalked it up to his mental health struggles, which, don't get me wrong, I sympathized with at first. Jordan had been diagnosed with anxiety and depression a couple years back, and I tried to be supportive, but over time, it became clear that he used it as a crutch to manipulate everyone around him. He'd scream, break things, and then play the victim card, and my parents would swoop in to coddle him while scolding me for not being understanding enough. We lived in a modest suburban house in Oregon, the kind with creaky wooden floors and a backyard that backed onto a forest. My room was my sanctuary, a small space I'd turned into a haven with posters of my favorite bands, a desk piled with books and my laptop, and shelves of collectibles I bought with my own money from my job at the local coffee shop. Jordan's room, right across the hall, was a disaster zone of empty soda cans and forgotten homework. He spent most of his time gaming, begging for the latest consoles and titles. Our parents had already bought him a PS5 last Christmas, but that wasn't enough. He always wanted more. It all started one rainy Friday evening in late fall. I'd just gotten home from a double shift, my feet aching and my uniform smelling like burnt espresso. Jordan was lounging on the couch, controller in hand, yelling into his headset at some online friends. "Riley," he called out as I kicked off my shoes. "You gotta buy me that new game. It's called Realm Chronicles. Everyone's playing it. It's only $70. I laughed it off at first. "Dude, no way. I just paid my car insurance. Ask Mom and Dad." His face twisted into that familiar scowl. They said no. "Come on, you're loaded from work. Don't be selfish." Selfish? I'd been saving for a used car upgrade because my old beater was on its last legs. "Jordan, I'm not buying it. Save up your allowance or something." He slammed the controller down, his eyes narrowing. "You always do this. You think you're better than me because you have a job? Fine, whatever." He stormed upstairs, and I thought that was the end of it. Boy, was I wrong. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. My door was ajar, which was weird because I always locked it. Pushing it open, my heart dropped. My room was destroyed, absolutely trashed. Posters ripped off the walls, books scattered and pages torn. My laptop screen cracked like a spiderweb. My collectibles, rare figurines from Comic-Cons, smashed into pieces on the floor. Clothes pulled from drawers, some shredded with scissors. Even my bed was flipped mattress askew. It looked like a tornado had hit. But I knew exactly who the storm was. I stormed into Jordan's room, where he was pretending to sleep. "What the hell, Jordan? You did this." He sat up, smirking. "Prove it. Maybe you sleepwalked or something." Rage boiled in my chest, but I held it together. I grabbed my phone and snapped photos of everything. The evidence I'd need later. Then I went downstairs to tell my parents. Sarah was in the kitchen making coffee. Mike reading the paper. "Mom, Dad, Jordan wrecked my room. Everything's ruined." They exchanged glances and Sarah sighed. "Riley, calm down. Let's talk about this as a family." We all sat in the living room. Jordan slouched on the couch with that smug look. I laid it out, showing the photos. But instead of grounding him or making him pay for damages, Sarah turned to me. "Honey, Jordan's been going through a lot. His therapist said stress can make him act out. You know about his anxiety." Mike nodded. "Yeah. And refusing to buy him, that game probably triggered him. You could have been more sensitive." My jaw dropped. Sensitive? He destroyed my stuff. That's not anxiety, that's vandalism. Jordan piped up, tears suddenly welling in his eyes. "I didn't mean to. I felt so rejected. Riley never helps me." Sarah hugged him. "See? He's sorry. Riley, you need to apologize for upsetting him. We're a family. We support each other." Apologize? To him? I felt like I was in some twisted alternate reality. No, absolutely not. He needs to fix this. The argument escalated. Mike raised his voice. You're being insensitive to his mental health. If you can't apologize, maybe you should stay with a friend until you cool off. I stormed out, grabbing my keys. As I drove to work, the anger festered. This was the first time they'd sided with him. Last year, he borrowed my savings jar and spent on in-game purchases, and they made me forgive him because he's struggling. But this was crossing a line. My laptop alone was worth $800, not to mention the sentimental value of my collectibles. I wasn't letting it slide. During my break at the coffee shop, I scrolled through Reddit, reading those revenge stories that always hooked me, the ones where people turn the tables in epic ways. One about a sibling getting arrested for theft inspired me. Jordan had committed a crime, criminal mischief, destruction of property, and I had proof, but I needed more. I remembered Jordan had a history of sketchy stuff. He'd bragged to me once about shoplifting games in a mall, and I suspected he had stolen goods in his room. If I could tie that in... No, focus on the facts. Still, a plan formed. I'd call the police, report the vandalism, and let them handle it. But to make it stick, I'd gather evidence of his pattern. After work, I went home quietly. Everyone was asleep. I snuck into Jordan's room, tit for tat, and rummaged carefully. Under his bed, I found a stash, not just my broken stuff, but brand new games still in packaging. Receipts missing. Tags from the local GameStop, dated recently. He'd been stealing. I took photos, then put everything back. The next day, Sunday, I waited until Jordan left for a walk. Probably meet friends in game. My parents were in the yard gardening. I called the non-emergency police line. Hi, I'd like to report vandalism and destruction of property in my home. 2 officers arrived within the hour, a stern woman named Officer Reyes and her partner, Officer Hale. I showed them my room, the photos, and explained the situation. My brother did this because I wouldn't buy him a video game. They nodded, taking notes. Sarah and Mike came inside, confused. What's going on? Officer Reyes explained. We're investigating a report of criminal damage. My parents freaked. It's just a sibling fight. Jordan's mental health. Officer Hale interrupted. Ma'am, destruction like this isn't excused by mental health. It's a crime. I then dropped the bomb. Officers, I also suspect he has stolen property in his room. He bragged about shoplifting. They asked for permission to search. My parents hesitated, but Mike, looking pale, consented. In Jordan's room, they found the stash. Games worth hundreds, some with anti-theft tags still on. Jordan returned just as they were bagging evidence, his face draining of color. What's this? He stammered. Officer Reyes read him his rights. You're under arrest for criminal mischief, vandalism, and possession of stolen property. Jordan screamed. Riley did this. It's their fault. But the cuffs clicked on. My parents begged, please, he's just a kid with issues. Officer Hale was unmoved. He can explain that to the judge. As they led him to the cruiser, Jordan shot me a hateful glare. I met it steadily, feeling a rush of vindication. My parents turned on me. Sarah sobbed. How could you? Calling the police on your own brother? Because you wouldn't hold him accountable, I said calmly. Someone had to. The aftermath was intense. Jordan spent the night in juvenile detention, his first real consequence. The charges stuck. Misdemeanor vandalism and theft. His mental health, defense got him court-mandated therapy and community service, but no free pass. He had to pay restitution from a job our parents finally made him get. My parents barely spoke to me for weeks, but I didn't care. I used the insurance payout for my damaged stuff to buy a new laptop and even upgraded my car. Jordan? He changed begrudgingly. No more tantrums, at least not around me. He apologized, sort of mumbling it during family therapy sessions a court order for all of us. Looking back, it was the wake-up call my family needed. I don't regret it. Sometimes, revenge isn't about destruction. It's about justice. And damn, did it feel good watching those cuffs snap shut. Word count, 1,248. Wait, that's short. Let me expand. The drive to the station haunted me. Jordan in the back seat, yelling obscenities. But as days turned to weeks, the tension eased. I started locking my door religiously, rebuilt my room better than before. Friends at work cheered me on when I shared the story anonymously online. Comments flooded in, "Epic revenge! Your parents suck." It went viral on Reddit. Thousands glued to the tale. Jordan's court date was a spectacle. He stood there in an ill-fitting suit, lawyer arguing diminished capacity. But the judge, a no-nonsense woman, saw through it. Mental health is serious, young man, but it's not a license to destroy. You'll learn accountability. He got probation, 100 hours community service at a thrift store. Ironic, since he'd stolen games. He had to sell his PS5 to pay me back. Watching him hand over the cash was priceless. My relationship with my parents mended slowly. Sarah admitted one night, tears in her eyes, "We enabled him too much. We're sorry, Riley." Mike nodded. "You were right to stand up." Now, Jordan works weekends, saves for his own games. No more entitlement. And me? I'm heading to college next fall, debt-free, with a story that'll keep people hooked for years.